Hello and welcome to the Daily Forex Report for January 22nd. We are looking at the EURUSD first. This pair is consolidating down. If you draw some trend lines, you can see what I'm talking about. Definitely moving towards each other, looking for a breakout. We should have a strong breakout day similar to this day coming very, very soon. Let me draw some trend lines here. Maybe be a little more exact for you. To the downside, obviously we have 1, 2, 3 bars that have hit that trend line, so we have some pretty strong support there. To the downside, we don't have as many. However, if we get a breakout to the upside, what I'm looking for to the upside off of about the 133.56 mark, looking to grab about 30 pips, 30 to 36 pips to the upside, right up to 133.91 mark. If you notice, that's getting real close to the 0-0 level of 13400, and that's why we're finding some support there. Now to the downside, if we get a breakout, looking for a short around 132.67, we have a quick, if you want to scalp it, take about 20 pips off the table, get out around 132.47. However, coming on down, bringing it down to the 131.40 mark for about 127 would be definitely a good play, using a stop loss of about 93 pips there, looking for it basically to move back to the downside of where it was. Let me zoom out just a little bit more here. You can see that a breakout to that would bring it down to here. We also have an area an area here of support around the 150 mark, 131.50 mark, that you need to be aware of also. Okay, now that we've gone through our trade of the day, so to speak, let's take a look at news announcements. At 4:30, well, at midnight, we have the Bank of Japan releasing their monthly economic report for January. No real time given, no consensus given. At 4:30 a.m. Eastern, we have the Pound Bank of England minutes being released, which typically doesn't affect the market because the numbers have already been released. Also, the pound, the 4:30 a.m. Eastern, the pound, they're releasing their jobless claims change for December. Consensus on that one is that it's moved higher, which could be good news for the pound. So make sure and keep an eye on this one, up from a negative 3K to 0.5K. I'm sorry, that would be negative news for the pound if we have some jobless claims moving higher. Then at 10 a.m. Eastern, we have the Canadians releasing their bank rate decision. Bank of Canada releasing their rate decision. They're estimating a hold at 1%. I don't anticipate them moving it, but if they do, of course, that would affect the market considerably. So definitely keep an eye on that. Now the U.S.-Japanese yen pair. This pair we have, it did close down. You can see we do have a trend line forming. Look for it to potentially go as high up to around the 90.08 mark. Look for it to come down, potentially down to 88.38. Now let's take a look at the Euro-USD pair. This pair, we've already talked about it to a large extent. I am looking for it kind of upward boundary up to hit some resistance around 13400. To the downside, we could see some support kick in around 132.50. If we get a break, though, definitely see it moving lower very, very quickly. Pound-US dollar pair has stalled in its downward move over the past little bit. It did form an inside bar during this last session. Look for a breakout of it, hopefully to the downside, and see a continuation of this trend since we do have a trade in it. Look for some resistance to the upside around 158.92. To the downside, look for some resistance around 157.50. Now the US Swiss, this pair, look for it to potentially go as high up to the 0.9375 mark. We should see some resistance coming to the market around there. To the downside, look for it to come in around the 0.9230 range for some support. Kind of a large range, but as you can see, we've had some strong tails to the upside as well as to the downside. Well, I hope that helps, and until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.